Why does spiritual awakening feel like going crazy? Spiritual awakening is generally triggered by events in your life that cause you great stress. So in this video, we're going to explore this and then what you can do to have a much smoother awakening. I'm Carol Rathel, occupational therapist, metaphysical minister. This channel is about helping you remember who you really are so that you can lead a joyful and fulfilling life. So the events in life that trigger awakening can bring you to your knees and cause you to have a good hard look at yourself and make new choices. It is frequently about something you have been doing in your life that no longer serves you. Something meaningful is ripped away from you, and it feels like falling into a pit. This is the moment that triggers your awakening. As an example, and I believe this is common for many people, I will share my story. I had a love-hate relationship with drinking alcohol and tried many times to quit because I knew it was not healthy, and also I was putting on weight. But at that time, my social life revolved around others whose lives revolved around drinking. There was a social group I belonged to, and literally all of my friends were drinkers. So rather than be lonely, I continued to drink in social settings regularly. I did try socializing being sober, however there was the pressure and the low-level ridicule from some of them because I was sober. Peer pressure is real, and I didn't want to lose my friends. The inevitable day came when my body decided enough was enough. I experienced an acute onset of heart failure one night and nearly drowned as the fluid built up in my lungs. I was rushed to hospital and diagnosed with acute heart failure. I was sent home with a regime of medications while I waited to be assessed for a heart device to strengthen my heart, which was very much under strength. This was a huge awakening moment. I was thrust into the pit of horror, and I was brought to my knees with my recent brush with death. I had to change what I was doing. I had to make that hard decision between life or gradual death. I was overweight, my heart was weak, and it was barely able to support all of that extra weight. I had to choose between a social life revolving around alcohol or a life taking care of my health. I didn't choose straight away, and I remained in the pit of horror as I continued to abuse my body. I'd been given around 5 years of life. I figured I had to do something because I refused to leave my son without a mother in the 10 years of his life. I stopped drinking and allowed my friendships to fizzle away. And this is the moment that I began to feel like I was going crazy. All of the past emotional wounds I had been carrying around from early childhood abuse began to surface, and I had spent all that time with other drinkers, masking those wounds. I was also brought face to face with my previous behaviours around drinking and how those behaviours affected my son. I wasn't an alcoholic by any means, but I knew alcohol affected my behaviour, and I began to cringe at the memories of how I had behaved. I allowed all of those pressing emotions from the past wounds come up to be released. It felt like I was mentally unwell. I became depressed. I slept a lot. I also went through a lot of self-blame for my state of health. And there was a mess in my head with all of those thoughts bouncing about. I continued to clear my emotions. I withdrew from the social group because, from my new perspective, There was actually nothing real about those friendships. It was purely about getting intoxicated. My only way forward was to develop a loving relationship with myself. And as that progressed, I found the silent, still voice within, which was my higher self. I found my connection to Source, the universe, or God, whatever name we use. Finally, that feeling of going crazy went away, and I was able to move forward with learning to live as a spiritual being in a human body. So the awakening journey takes something away so that you can find your true nature as a spiritual being. It is important to look for the lessons when events bring you to your knees. What are they teaching you? So you can step out of what we call the dark night of the soul and into the light of growing as a spiritual being. Once you understand this process, it can be much easier to move through those dramatic moments. After that cataclysm happened, all that I had learned previously began to be integrated into myself. Life is working for me, not against me, because it brings me those lessons I need to learn to grow as a spiritual being. It is much easier to remove those obstacles, learn and awaken, and then go on to the much more enjoyable path of spiritual growth. Please like and subscribe to my channel so you will be notified when more of my spiritual growth videos come on board. So I look forward to seeing you, and I will be waiting for you in the next video. Bye for now.